Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Loading. In this episode, we're gonna take a look at another new nodes for Sverchok add-on and Blender, and it's called something like FCurve sampler. And if you look through the development thread, there's actually a lot of example already how you can use these nodes. But I'm gonna try to just use the nodes without looking at this first, and just like the usual Blender Sushi fashion, we just gonna jump into it. So let's save this as FCurve sampler 001 and go to compositing, and we have Sverchok, and we're gonna have a new node called FCurve in. Okay, this is the sampler node, I believe. So in order to use this, we need to have some kind of objects that actually generate, that actually has some kind of FCurve or animation curve. So we're gonna just use this cube, and I'm just gonna keyframe it a couple of times. So original position 0, 0, 0, keyframe it, gonna move it up, keyframe, gonna move it down, keyframe, and around here I'm gonna keyframe again. So we have 4 keyframes. Okay, so now we can select our cube, and we can quickly evaluate the FCurve. So if you don't know what the FCurve is, you need you can look at it inside graph editor, and here you can of course see the FCurve or the animations curve, and it has curve for the X, Y, Z, but the X, Y is basically static because we didn't change the value, but the Z actually have this kind of FCurve graph. Yeah. So how can we bring this FCurve into Sverchok? It's actually pretty easy now, and we just pick the right property, animation curve property index. I believe it's the 0, 1, 2, so it's the third one, and we can evaluate it using the stethoscope, and we should get a value. So we have these animations between 0 and 60. So I'm just gonna trim the trim the frames, and okay, so now we can observe this a little bit easier. Okay, so we have 4 keyframes, but in terms of Sverchok, we can actually sample this curve at any frames, and we do that by specifying the frame here. So we can use like integer value or float value, or you can use any number, like this number nodes. You can use integer, and you see you can just jump to any value. You can jump into any frame, and you get the output, the sampled FCurve over there. So you can also use float, of course. The FCurve will work either in float or integer. So by specifying the value, so you can use a range integer or range float, and simply sample the FCurve that way. So let's say we have let's generate integer value between 0 and 65. So start and stop 65. The step is 1, and we plug this into the FCurve input, and we're gonna have a bunch of value, and it's better be visualized in 3D view so it's easier. So viewer, draw, and use vector in, and plug this into the Z if you like. So we are basically regenerating the value as vector points. So using this range of value between 0 and 65, we can plug it into the X, and now we can see the FCurve as these points that we generated in 3D view. So it's already getting pretty interesting. And we can still control the start, stop, and we can also use the count if you like. It's pretty similar. That's actually a little bit more interesting. So you can just resample the points and skipping depending on how you want it. That's using range integer, but I think float also can give a better result. So range, counts, and here you can really see how we are resampling this FCurve as a bunch of points that Sverchok actually can use to kind of model like a new geometry. If I'm not wrong, UV connections also can easily generate curve. There you go. If I bake it out, it's actually a curve, right? And this thing is actually, this thing is live. You can still change the curve. You can also use the dope sheet, maybe just to change the timing of this curve. And this guy will update like almost in real time. It's actually real time. If I keep this playing and change the keyframe positions, the curve will also change. So that's pretty cool that you can do this in real time. And this is all procedural, and with this curve we can still adjust the curve. Let's see, if I'm selecting the curve, you can see all the keyframes at the moment. But if I turn on only selected curve keyframes, now we are kind of filtering the curve. We can still adjust this. So that's also pretty cool, and we can actually use it for all kind of different purpose. Maybe like a lathe, you know, if you want to revolve this, you can do that pretty easily. So revolve or lathe. There you go. It's almost like too easy now to do this. You can revolve it in different axes, of course, but for now it's the axis is the Z axis, so we get this result. And let's see, one more thing, with Blender FCurve we actually have modifier. If you don't know already, the modifier like can kind of modify the FCurve itself. The one that people use a lot, of course, the noise. It's easy to see what's going on. We are generating the noise for the curve. So introducing the noise, of course, we're gonna get the noise here as well. So let's take a look. So there you go. We might need to resample it a little bit more to see the noise. So now we are introducing some kind of imperfection to our curve. And this is actually a good thing. And if you look at like Japanese pottery, they actually introduce this kind of noise for their lathe. I'll show you what I mean. So Japanese pottery, it gives some kind of imperfections. So it's not like a smooth, but there's all this kind of wavy, and because this is also tends to be like handmade, so this is becoming a little bit more interesting. I'm trying to recreate this procedurally at some point. I'll try to do it using Blender, but anyhow, so this is for the pottery, right? And if we want to lathe this more properly, let's do that here. Currently it's sideways, but we can easily change this, of course. This is the Z axis. Maybe I need to switch this around. This is for the Y, this is for the X. Oh well, doesn't matter for now. I'm just gonna switch the axis to X. It's in there. So that's generate some kind of lathe. It creates this pot and you can bake it and you have something. So this is of course based on this FCurve animations that's happening on this cube in the Z-axis. So there you go. This is a quick look at this FCurve sampler nodes in Sverchok. There's a lot you can do here, of course. There's a lot of example here already, and you can take a look how the Sverchok developers kind of testing the nodes, and there's also some other developers tried the nodes. And yeah, oh, this one is really cool. It's actually generating these shapes in real time. So there you go. That's Sverchok FCurve nodes once again, and you can sample any curve, any animation curve, and turn it into 3D surface. Okay, thanks again. Hopefully this is useful, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.